Hi, my name is Olivia, and this is going to be my new series, 12 months, 12 self-portraits, starting with none other than January. If you want to skip to a certain part of the video, I will have it on screen now, if you're only really interested in the process of the photos. But we're gonna start off by talking about why am I doing this? I follow a creator called Helen, and she does a lot of self-portraits. She has been doing a self-portrait once a month for a pretty long time. And I was really inspired by her self-portraits series last year, but I didn't complete it. I didn't do one each month, but I still did good. I did I think half of the year. I think I only really missed 3 or 4 months, which I think is still really good, but I didn't complete the challenge. But besides that, I just really like her work. And I think there's a multitude of reasons why I think you should also consider taking a self-portrait every month. First of all, you will have photo memory of what you look like when you were younger. I think that's important. I think we forget to take pictures and videos of ourselves because we're like, well, I know what I look like, but in 10 years, you're gonna be annoyed that you don't have a lot of pictures from when you were 10 years younger. If you're a photographer, you'll be able to see your work improve over time, especially if you do portraits. This one is especially for me as a concert and portrait photographer. I am usually behind the camera, not in front. And I think it's really fun to basically do it all yourself. And of course, the most important one, it boosts your confidence. This is not my first time I've shot in my bathtub. I'm quite a big fan of taking photos in a bathtub. I love the atmosphere. I love what it adds. It's a concept I like to work with quite often. I've taken photos in this bathtub of myself exactly 3 times, including this one. I would say the first time I did it, it was extremely rough. I'm not mad at the color grading of these photos at all, but they just feel really flat, and I didn't like how my makeup looked. The lighting was really harsh, and I think I was trying to portray the same emotion in this new portrait, but it just felt really flat, and it just wasn't planned at all. Now, the second time around, I was also more skilled in my photography. It took a long ass time to set up because it was at night and I set up 2 lights and I fogged up the entire bathroom to get this hazy look, which I do love. I do think some of these photos have some better emotion, and I really liked how I did the lighting in overall. But again, I still think the third photos, the current ones, are still probably my favorites emotion-wise. Another thing I think is really important to acknowledge is usually when I do self-portraits, I do usually do a test shoot, and that's just to see what I have in my head looks somewhat of what I think of when I actually take the photos. I usually don't set them up very professionally at all. I set up my camera, I sit in my normal clothes with no makeup on, with roughly the lighting I want, and I just take some photos in that. And I really enjoyed how the test shots turned out, so I knew I wanted to move on with it and do the actual shoot. One of the things I knew I wanted was natural lighting. From the test shoot till the actual photos, the lighting was kind of different because it was 2 different times of the day, but I still feel like you get the same vibe. So all I really did was just turn off all the lights in my bathroom and just letting the natural light shine in. And one of the things I really wanted was the photos to be taken from a down perspective, like a bird perspective, because I wanted the photos to give this impression that you were looking down on me. I didn't really have a ton of poses in mind. I knew I just wanted a couple different perspectives, hanging off the bathtub. I wanted some hugging my knees because I think that's just a really good pose to do when you're trying to evoke emotion. And I still really think I captured the emotion I wanted, which was loneliness and isolation. I asked a couple of my friends and they all said yeah, this is giving very much loneliness and sadness vibes. And I was thinking about it. The bathtub really represents isolation because it's so small. That was so random, but I feel like I really nailed that with the isolation part, and how I was feeling in the moment wasn't the greatest. And I really feel like you can tell that from some of the photos. I look really mean when my face is just resting, so it is a little bit difficult also get the correct emotions sometimes, but like we did really, really great. I think gear is important, but it's not everything. I used my Sony a7 III with my Tamron 28-75 f2.8. I mostly did zoom just so I had the option to like zoom in and out and I wouldn't have to move the tripod as much. The tripod, I use a K&F concept tripod. This one can hold up to 10 kilograms of weight, which is perfect for my setup that only weighs like 2.5 kilos, and it held onto my camera perfectly well. And it even comes with a mono arm. I think that's what it's called. And how I actually take the photos is I use an app called Imagining Edge, and it works pretty great. If you have a newer Sony camera, I know there's a different app and that one works a lot better, and it actually supports like you uploading the raw images like straight to your phone. But for this one, I didn't really need to do that. It saves a JPEG version of the photo, which I think is nice. I think you can turn it off. I think it's fine, especially if you just want to show the photos. Like it just shows like a JPEG version you can show to your friends if whatever, for some reason. And here are a couple of the photos. I really, really loved how they turned out, and I think everything went perfectly. And if you'd like to see the rest, you can come over to my Instagram where the rest of them are already posted. Link in the description. I really loved how these photos turned out, and I'm super excited to see what I will be creating next month. I definitely have some ideas. If you have any suggestions of what I should try and do of a self-portrait, let me know in the comments. Have a great day, morning, evening, or night, or wherever you are in the world. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!